and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Brothers with Voices. This is episode 8, and we are talking about chemistry versus compatibility. We want to see if those things match or if they kind of, are different in a way. But before we go any further, gentlemen, Magadi venue.
Tinofara Zumba. Girandu Tano.
Arisatira kura zvaro but tichiripo.
What up, guys? I'm good, bro. I'm good. How's things with you, Chris? Tano zvangu munofara here.
Ndiribo. Dawachichimira chiri chibhodhoro but vanebvudza kupfuura redu tesa kuti vakadii zvava.
No, it's just appreciating our honor here and making sure. We also clean it and we take care of it. It's not.
Oh, is that right?
This nigga just took away. Just took away a diss.
Plus,
I wanted to make it about just
there's a storyline to it. You know what I mean?
You just stole my diss, but I wanted to diss you. Now you just stole it.
I know.
You just stole it from me.
Messy, man.
I'm here, it's messy here, alright. It's messy here, alright.
And today I want to start with you, Chris.
Bati, Wanza.
You. Chris, what is chemistry, bro? What do you think is really chemistry? When you hear about the word chemistry, not from the scientific term, but when it comes to human beings, what do you think it is?
Bro, that is a difficult question for me because but let me try and answer you. I think chemistry really, when you look at it, is like you don't have to put effort. Like it's just natural. It just flows. You know what I mean? Like you like the same music, Tupac, sometimes the same church stuff. You're into the same, foods, restaurants, movies. It's like very little effort to make things work in that sphere. I mean, to that extent, like when you talk about chemistry, I feel like you don't need a Tinder for you guys to match on restaurants to go to at night, like go for dinner or whatever the case may be. It just flows. Like there's just a basic understanding of who you are together. And this is talking on this on the basic stuff. Now, when you go deeper, I say that even when you now have the perspective of emotional maturity, you're exactly on the same level. When you talk about spiritual understanding, you're on the exact same.
No. That's compatibility. Chemistry.
You want to about definition of compatibility. No, you didn't. Your answer.
The question.
The question exactly. Your answer and the question are not compatible, eh?
No.
They're not compatible.
He has researched very well and he wants to give a well-informed answer. Chris, no. What is chemistry?
All right.
Right. So I agree with you in terms of your definition. Your definition was for compatibility, and it's 100% correct. In that it's just how you guys get along, your likes, your dislikes. How did you? That's how I think the compatibility part of things is. When it comes to chemistry, I think chemistry is just that spark. That chemistry is that you like the way they smell. I wanted to say actually chemistry is like more of your natural attraction to someone. That chemical attraction. That I like the way she smells. I like the way she looks. Before you get into the things you get along with each other. Which I know we ran about, but I think chemistry is more that. With that passion, emotional connection, passion, which isn't Which isn't based on what's in your mind and your likes and dislikes and where you grow up and stuff like that.
Which is based on what you can see right now, and maybe let's use an example, right? Let's say we met in a certain situation, maybe in the library, right? Let's just be fucking good people today. We met in the library, and and we like the same type of books, and we kind of liking the energy because we all like quiet time and whatever. That's chemistry, right? You would say that's chemistry because you want similar interests by same time. There's a time factor too that I want to put into it.
I get what you're saying, but I think that's more of compatibility than chemistry, because chemistry, I think, it would be more of let's say in the library and you're talking about a book and you're giggling about it. That kind of connection.
Yes.
That's you're talking about the same things. You're laughing at. He laughs at your jokes. The way you hold each other's hands. Stuff like that. Just sweet.
Chris. Hey, guys, even if we don't get these definitions right, I'm gonna be useless the whole episode.
Okay.
I Google Chris.
In the Google, Hansi, compatibility, right?
Chemistry.
Chemistry. My definition actually too.
Something that I understand in my language and in computer language, it's the ability of one computer piece of software to work with another, right? And then in human definition, a feeling of sympathy and friendship or like-mindedness. Right?
What's that? That's compatibility.
That's compatibility with like-minded.
I agree.
The like-minded.
Definition now
like-minded. We're like-minded. Chemistry. The complex emotional or psychological interaction between people. For example, this affair was triggered by intense sexual chemistry.
I agree. In simple terms. In simple terms. Thank you, Mukoma Google. In simple terms.
Okay. So now that we have really defined what chemistry is, right? Another question that I have for you guys: do you think chemistry is enough for a relationship?
No.
Do you think chemistry is enough for a relationship? But we have chemistry, so I think maybe we should be in a relationship because we have chemistry.
No, Ashbude. Because chemistry in itself, I think the good thing about chemistry and compatibility is that they go hand in hand. There's different degrees and levels of compatibility. There's different degrees and levels of chemistry.
That's not a good thing.
Huh? No, there's different degrees of compatibility and chemistry in any relationship. But chemistry by itself, without any form of compatibility, I wouldn't. I talk about it because that it's very fleeting. It's something that can go away. I would like to liken it to like lust. It's something that's not going to knock it for a while, but it's not enough to sustain for the long run. That's how I think about it. Chemistry by itself.
So chemistry by itself, Chris?
I'm just gonna say the exact same thing. I don't think you can have anything sustainable without the other. Like you need chemistry for you guys to actually find that compatibility bit of it. Because like chemistry when you first meet, how are you gonna build the compatibility?
How are you gonna meet?
How are you gonna actually find that compatibility bit of it all? And if you're compatible, how are you gonna realize life without that chemistry involved? Like, I mean, you can't like I don't see that. I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, some people have met without chemistry and they have just happened to be in the same place, and over a period of time they didn't realize.
You can hear the way you are saying it, bro. That is like boring, bro. That's like
you know what? Wait.
As much as chemistry cannot stand alone without compatibility. Compatibility, but there's no chemistry. I think it could work relationship-wise, but it would be boring. It would be painful. It may be just sad.
It would be a lot of work. It would just be a lot of work.
Yeah, it would be sad. Yeah, with no chemistry, my one. You need to look at her and be like,
Just a disclaimer, but his views in this
Hashtag Amaimuka.
There you go. I think
That's what I'm saying. It needs to be there, bruh. Without it,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
But do you guys realize that there are certain people that are together today, actually married with kids, and they did not meet because of chemistry? Sometimes they met because it was an arranged marriage, or they met because in that short period of time, probably they made a mistake, and that was their first baby. Now they have 3. You know what I mean? So probably it wasn't. It was something that they didn't plan to do at that point. But then over time, something build up to a relationship, which then becomes, I don't know if it's compatible or not, but what do you call that?
But I don't think relationship is only built on these 2 factors of chemistry and compatibility. Yeah. Most likely, in cases like arranged marriages, there are cases where it's about the family. It's not about you, right? You have to just do it because look at the royal families back in the day. They would just get people married, like maybe could build their bigger army for peace and stuff like that, right? So right? At the end of the day, you can't. There are a lot of factors that will make a real relationship, and that are not just compatibility and chemistry, right? Yeah. And I don't see, again, one working without the other. In terms of all the factors that actually do make a relationship, I wouldn't see anyone working without the other to make a very fruitful relationship.
I agree with Chris to a very large extent, but at the same time, just because I like disagreeing with him, I'm going to say they are very good pillars to base a relationship's projection on. I think they're really, really good pillars. So you're looking at Panichi metrics, compatibility and chemistry type vibe, where you've got low chemistry, low compatibility, Mawan. Then you've got low chemistry, high compatibility. It can work. Like a SWOT analysis. And then you've got high chemistry, low compatibility. It's harder. It's harder because it's short term. These are your flings. And then you've got your high chemistry, high compatibility, which is very difficult to find. It's not only
my feelings.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying my pillars are not going to shine. They're good.
My estimates. Because you never know.
And she don't change. No problem. People change.
Even from experience.
Going.
Mangwana could is cutting his hair. But when I met you, you were like an artist, and that's what attracted me. Now you're cutting your hair. Like now you're bald, like Chris. I don't like you anymore. No more games.
This is not about compatibility or chemistry anymore. About compassion.
Okay, let's get back into this item now. The topic today is, chemistry and compatibility. But I had to do this, but then we already talked about a little bit of compatibility. I'm going to segment it as we go on. But the thing that we talked about chemistry now, I think the one thing that I really got from you guys is chemistry has to do with time. It has a time factor. A time factor whereby, because it fades, like what you just said, Batsy.
Okay.
Like maybe because I'm attracted to you because you're beautiful today. I'm attracted to you because maybe you've got hair. Like I love the hair. But then Mangwana, if you see me...
I agree. Chemistry, I wasn't attracted to him before. In terms of your girl say something that I wasn't attracted to him before. Now he's changed.
You know what I mean? Oh, I saw you like Chris, clean, bro, with the fucking beard that makes a statement to cover some of the hair that is not here. But it's it's a thing. It is branding, right? If he changes that tomorrow, shots fired.
I can't even respond to this shit. You guys are useless. You guys are useless.
But if then Chris then changes and then he's got hair tomorrow, maybe someone like maybe the same person will not be attracted the same way.
Yeah, and someone else who wasn't attracted would be. And it's just like beard gang, bro. Like when Devil started coming out, we started keeping it because it was cool. And certain people liked it, you know. A lot more people saw it as something that they liked. But I wasn't always keeping my beard, you know. So it is very, very fleeting. But that's why I wanted to liken it to lust. It can come, it can go. You know, it's skin deep. That's what I would say about chemistry. It's very skin. It can be skin deep. Yeah.
Okay. So it can be in a definitely psychological situation whereby someone is, you know, as smart, but then we've got that chemistry whereby that kind of, like maybe that person fucks my mind, you know what I mean? Then but then maybe their living arrangement is not compatible with mine, so maybe we're not compatible. But then I like the way they think.
Right? Yeah. That can work. That sounded like a very personal thing there, Kuti, but anyway, let's leave it alone. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
You've gone through that before, bro. Anything you want to say?
No. So now we're moving forward to we have the reason why I wanted to start with chemistry is I wanted to now move on to, you know, compatibility. I can break it down into, you know, 4 parts. Okay. Psychological, compatibility, social compatibility. Can we really hang out together? Because sometimes maybe we can be smart, right? We are hanging out and, you know, in a formal setting, you're smart. You're a smart man and you're a provider and whatever. But then in a social setting, like if I chill with my friends, then I cannot bring you around my friends, or I cannot, you know, do that, right? So there's that social aspect, and we've got, so there's psychological, social, financial, you know, like
stay in your lane.
No, we're not there yet. I don't want to get shot yet. Financial, right? Financial in the sense of, are we on the same page, right?
Okay.
And then the other one is a surprise. The other one is a bomb in the end. But let's just talk about compatibility on those levels. If we can start from psychological, Chris, how do you think that really plays a role into your relationship?
I think psychologically, you just want to be with somebody who's on the same wavelength mentally with you. I wouldn't want to, because I mean, this factors in a lot of things. Like, for example, conversations in the house, right? You want to have a conversation. You want to have fights. I'm gonna say at the end of this fight, resolve ne ongologica. Resolve nepfungwa kuti chamwari iwo wataura point iwewe. Nachita angunaro baba noti ndiri stupid but une point. You know what I mean? I feel like it's natural for men to be attracted to that type of woman, to say, you know, I want to have somebody that you connect with psychologically, right? And be able to actually have those little things which are necessary, because at the end of the day, you can ongologe as much as you want, but if you guys are not on the same page or on the same wavelength, it's not going to work.
There's no ongologe.
Same thing if that psychology is not on the same wavelength with your families, that shit is not going to work. If my woman is not going to be in the same, you know, wavelength with my family in terms of understanding where my goals are or whatever, what they want for me, then it's not going to work. Same vice versa, right? But at the end of the day, I just feel like, I think there's no ongology.
At the end of the day,
do you think it's a real big factor in a relationship if we are not on the same wavelength psychologically?
I think it depends on what your type of relationship is based on. If it's an intellectual relationship, then that's going to be a very big factor. If it's a physical relationship, then then you have like 20 kids, bro. Fuck it. Then you know
I think I would have said it in a different way, but I kind of agree with Chris in the sense that yes, psychologically. Wow, that he went in, bro. Oh damn, he went in, bro. Anyway, yeah, but I agree with Chris in that kana muchisangana at that point where there's like we said earlier, there's so many different facets to this thing called relationship. So if that's one of the things that is important to one or both of you, right? And but let's say I am an intellectual and my woman is not an intellectual, it's gonna be a problem for me.
Okay.
That's gonna be a problem. But at that level, it helps. That compatibility is very important. I think it's dope. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, oh, wow.
Okay. So the psychological one, let's leave it aside, right? Let's go on to the social, Bati. Bati, social. Do you think the social setting has to be compatible for a couple? Or they can just have different lives. What do you think about that?
I think it's important. I think it's the social setting because we are very social beings, right? So if it's very, I think it's something that you'll struggle with, but it's something that you can overcome. So I say this because I've experienced it as well. If I'm a very social person, but my wife is an introvert. So in a situation where I want to be going out all the time, she wants to stay home all the time. So yes, I think it's important. As in, this is what I'm saying. There's high and low. There's degrees to this compatibility thing where we can be in agreement with so many other things, but social right? So I get that it's important. It would be great for both extroverts or for both introverts. But because there's so many other things that we are compatible in as well. So it may not be the be all and end all, but I think it's a very important factor as well. So in cases where, let's say I want to go out every weekend, I'll definitely have to adjust myself to say, no, maybe not every weekend because you're going out. So socially, it would be great for me if we're both going out all the time, how I want to, but it's not something that's practical. So that emotional intelligence is what comes into play as well, where you're now deciding, okay, what can we do so we can make this work? So yeah, so I think it's important, but it's not the be all and end all.
Okay.
Don't go pick it.
Yeah, you know,
This is actually my first glass today. Actually, I haven't had a drink like for the past 2 days now.
Yeah, because it was your birthday week and you were crying. You're detoxing.
I'm trying to sober up for the past couple of days, but this is my first drink this week. So I was not I'm just tired because of the partying and the drinking, of course. But what I wanted to ask, Bati, is that when you're talking about on a social level, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with your example comparing introverts and extroverts.
Okay, all right.
I would actually want you to explain a little bit more because for me, when I'm thinking extrovert, right, I'm thinking an introvert can be powerful just as much. I'm an introvert in Daraga, but you will still find me in the bar. Okay, you used to find me in the bar. Now I don't do that stuff. But you could find me in the bar as many times as an extrovert. So
okay, yeah.
Even with I would be dating somebody. I think that is we're gonna go on and that's we're gonna go.
But actually extrovert. No, look,
is not balancing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Introvert doesn't mean staying at home. Extrovert doesn't. That's why it's necessarily just an example. But I get what you're saying. It's not specific to that. I was just using the example that's right there. Because yes, I am an extrovert. She's an introvert. I like going out. She likes staying at home. That's the different facets, but it can be different. It can be in different settings altogether. It's just pakusiana kweni. There has to be just somewhere where you actually sing. So the social aspect, I think, is important, just like how the financial and all these other aspects are important, but sometimes it depends to what degree,
the word.
So you're saying that so psychologically it can really become a problem, but socially you can find ways to adjust and see what works for who, and if you can adjust to your
balance.
I think there needs a balance. Even psychologically, you can be way ahead or behind when it comes to your intellect. Right? Somewhere sangana, in every aspect.
Okay.
That's just how I feel.
I think the worst thing that I'm gonna do today is actually agree with Patti from the past couple of seasons. I think it's gonna taste very bitter.
But yeah.
Patti was right when it comes to this whole communication nonsense. I think
very true, man. Very true.
Patti was right.
Communication is key, bro. Communication. Eat communication.
I know you now have this on record, so don't expect me to ever repeat it again. If you want to hear it, just replay this episode. I'm not
going to say it again.
Wow. So guys, when we're talking about compatibility, so now we've talked about the psychological part and we've talked about the social part. And from what I was kind of gauging, I realized that we kind of need a certain level of understanding in both too, because even in the psychological part, as Chris was saying, we need a certain level of understanding. We can't all be on the same level, but then we need a certain level where we can meet, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the social thing, that sometimes it can be a thing of an extrovert dating an introvert, and then I see relationships that actually fail because of that, because the other person wants to stay at home and then the other person wants to go out, so they'll maybe clash because of that. But then sometimes you can really come up to a resolution of how you can make it work, So let's move on to this now. The financials. Do you think that's a big issue when it comes to compatibility? I want both of you to answer this. Let's start with Chris.
Yeah, bullying, but all right. When it comes to financials, I mean, to be honest, I think this is a big factor, but it only becomes a factor when there is no honesty in it, right? Kuba, a guy who earns twice or three times more than your chick, that seems to be pretty normal. But then when you put it in reverse, most guys are not comfortable with it. So again, then that will start affecting compatibility with how is baby gonna to good? How am I earning more than my guy? Has a serious in life, and baby can struggle at the same level and then financially couldn't determine, which I feel nowadays doesn't work. Back in the day, it used to work in the sense that our fathers were, the providers. And now in the same sense, now when you look at it, ladies are now providers of families, you know what I mean? And they're earning maybe 3, 4, 5 times the salary, at the end of the day. So I feel like if there is that transparency from the get-go, this is where I'm at financially, this is where you are at financially. I feel like as long as there's that understanding, I feel like compatibility will never be an issue. I think outside factors might try to influence friends. I don't know where some people are not big, type of vibe. But at the end of the day, as long as I feel like that shouldn't affect, the compatibility between you two. Money shouldn't be a factor.
As long as you communicate.
No, I'm not going to agree with Bati again. Like in Gambo, communication. As long as there is that transparency, I feel like transparency is very important. Honesty, transparency, and also outlining the responsibilities. If I'm earning less, obviously there's certain things that I can't do. If you're earning more, there's certain things that you can cover, right? We need to have that understanding in that household. Because you can't expect me with if I'm earning less, I have to pay rent or buy the house. You know what I mean? Obviously, you will be like, okay, Chris, let me get the house. You take care of the other smaller nitty-gritties, or let's share the responsibility this way, that way. Like, I feel like that's a big conversation, Kudzi, in terms of financials and relationships. I don't think it can be just, okay, when I say what I try
to ma'am, I want to disagree categorically with Christopher because I enjoy doing that.
I know.
So, why I'm disagreeing with Chris is because I actually think I should have gone about. Why I say that is because I feel financial positions and financial stabilities and the likes are something that changes so often and can change numerous times in any relationship. So like when we start dating, maybe we started dating the student and suddenly marry, or there's no prospect and you're working, right? Next thing, I now finish school and now I'm working, I'm earning more. And then you get a better job and I follow up. Like it can change in so many different ways in such a short time or over the spanning of your whole relationship, whether it's dating, marriage, or whatever the case may be. So I personally feel that a financial compatibility, I think that's not even, for me, that's not even a thing because it's something that can change so quickly. Today I have no job. Tomorrow I have a job that pays 3 times more than yours. Today I have no job. Tomorrow I start a business and I sell it to Facebook and I'm a billionaire. Do you know what I'm saying? It's something that can change like that. So I think it's not something that you can say we need to be compatible on because it can change so easily. Maybe you may want someone who has money, but I don't think it's something that we can hold on and say, this we have to be compatible on, or else it will not work. In my opinion.
Or you can also love someone without money and think we can be compatible, and it will not probably work.
Yeah, but that's the situation right now. That can change.
Both sides.
No, even my side is still the same because even if you fall in love with someone who's got no money, right, and then 2-3 weeks later they get a break and they've got money.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, because as I say, this issue of finances in a relationship is there's so much to unpack in this situation. Because first of all, there's one thing we agreed in season 1.
Yeah.
A relationship is easier when money is there. And let's be honest, a relationship is easier.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
So at the end of the day, it now depends on how you guys have factored money into your relationship. Right. Okay. So you might say that it doesn't matter with who's got more money now, but it would maybe nothing. I'm gonna catch a break, and then I make $1 million. I sold my business to Facebook. I make $1 billion, whatever the case may be. But again, Chief, there's the groundwork that needs to be put. My financials. Who's gonna finance that business for you to sell it to Facebook? You know what I mean? Who's gonna finance it?
Manna from heaven.
Only you know how many people I talk to and don't know that. What will provide? Life is not that easy. It's not that easy.
And this one thing, I don't completely agree with you. I don't completely disagree with you in the sense that I get what you're saying, but I just don't think in the context of compatibility, finances are a factor. That's what
it is. It is though. I'm saying it is. Finances are a factor. It shouldn't be. But it is. In nowadays relationships, the situations, it is a factor.
No, because at the end of the moderator.
Chris, listen.
What I'm saying, at the end of the day, in as much as it shouldn't matter with who earns more or who earns less, nowadays it has become a really big factor because you also want to be associated with somebody that benefits you, whether it's financially, emotionally, whatever. So talking about financially specifically, you start thinking about, okay, who earns less than me. What sphere are they gonna put me in? You know what I mean? Nowadays, that is a question that a lot of people ask themselves with, all right, because my circles I can also pinza level. Am I gonna benefit? Am I gonna benefit? You know, be it financially. Because I also didn't badare chikoro chwa. You go use it. Dingiri. Mariam gino zo zoga. Erga na tika ramban. I'm not a finances chief. I don't even play with that. Nowadays, it's a big fact.
Okay, right. I'm not going to argue 100% of that. Yeah, I can wait on about Lobola Baby. Do you want to marry Yangu big?
So let's close the finances one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because we won't agree on this one.
One of my mentors, I want was finances are the thing is, it doesn't matter how much you earn. It doesn't matter how much you earn or whatever, but then if you're together, the most important thing is about really coming together and being completely honest with what you probably have right now. I understand we can talk about the future and stuff. It's on the time what I go say I would in the future, but
I'm not big.
You're not big right now, yeah.
So therefore you're not compatible. So you're not compatible financially now.
Can I just add something?
That's short. Those short-sightedness.
Can I just add something? I just want to add something, please. Can I just add something?
Okay.
The 4 richest men in the world right now are divorced.
All of them. Divorced.
All of them.
It's not a funny thing, bro.
Divorced.
They're divorced, really divorced.
I just contradicted myself, but yes.
Yes.
The 4 richest men in the world are divorced.
Yeah, you are money for my team now.
But kana Bill Gates akati zviri batsire bima billion ari
but all I'm saying is you've given me a point.
Mukadzi wemunhu ari paiyati neboyfriend izvezvi.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so let's not look.
That's what I'm saying. Let's leave finances because talk about important. I don't think talk about important because compatibility when it comes to finances has got too many things going on there.
Let's leave it open ended. Let's leave it open.
Yeah, let's do the Chris.
Let's leave this one open ended. And don't go to Mlango ya no da ibaba.
Itawa lava ja imali yabo.
Tara da imali yabo.
Ndiwakaromba aizimaswe.
Ukaruma manje ikoko manje usazocomplaina man because
my brother Zakati, Sierra
stay in your lane.
Ukada kuromba ndiyo mari yako yekuromba ndeyako usati terereso satina zvatozi.
Okay, so now the final segment, gentlemen, would be the most critical, maybe in a family, is religion. Which was the surprise that I had for you guys, right? Like,
yeah, the surprise for real.
I was not ready for this.
That was
like, do you guys think it's a very important component who you worship and stuff with the person that you then end up with?
The simple answer to that one is yes.
Yeah.
I think we can go deep into this one, which I'm sure we will. But I think the very simple answer to that one is a resounding yes. That one, I think religion is a very big issue because it's, in many cases, it's the foundation of who that person is. It speaks to what I do on a daily basis. So, yeah, you're looking at, let's take religion maybe in a this hour vanenge vakuto isakatawo kagumbeze pasi vakutonamata. If you don't understand, if you're not Muslim, you won't understand the Muslim way. So I know it's a lot of people have moved from Muslim to Christian. People move religions as they so wish, which is fine. But I'm saying when you find someone in their own sphere and you are in a completely different thing, it's gonna be something that you struggle with. Even within Christianity, because there's so many denominations of Christianity, it can become an issue. Even though you're praying to the same Jesus, you read the same Bible, you do the same things, just because you go to a different church, it can be an issue.
African traditional church, sorry.
That one. But what more when you are, if it's a problem when you are all Christians? What more when you're two different, complete religions? Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. The simple answer down is yes. It's a
resounding
It's
thing.
different from finances. This one is different.
This doesn't even go on to just between you two.
You've got
families.
Yes, my way, families.
Big
my way.
Wait. Yeah. Let me break down this. Let me tell you like a story, man. This is a lady.
The storyteller.
This is a lady you've met, man. She's really like a Nzungu to you. You know what I mean? She's the one that you've been waiting for. Psychologically, she's fucking smart, man. Socially, you fucking vibe, right? Financially, you're on the same page. But religion, wait.
I hear you.
Let's say we, because I think
we get you, John. But religion is such a fundamental.
It's so big.
It's so deep. It's so deep.
It's so big. I'll give you an example, Quincy. I want to give you an example. You know how it is in our culture. We say that with the mchato unaitirwa kupi mchato the church wedding. Where is it done? I don't need to go church
church. Church I've heard that before.
So how then, if you're talking about religion in your relationship, are you actually going to decide to treat it with church? And let's speak on the fact that we're African men, right? At this my veto to go decide I gonna buy a
whatever.
Other moms and I'm chat and it. And then you say with the moon we're a different religion, but then Chief, it becomes such
very contentious. Yeah,
but it's always going to be contentious because maybe you get in the Roman Catholic like through and through to even serving and drinking auto. But
and stealing most. Yeah, but we all do it, bro. You know, also say, if you didn't see auto wine, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you remember that day, Quincy? Do you remember that day, Quincy?
I don't know more than
every auto server knows how auto wine tastes like in its raw form.
True. It's not to drop to a vodka,
yeah, in its raw form.
You gotta get some bit of privilege, especially if you're working with the things.
Exactly.
Extra anointing. Extra anointing.
No extra, guy.
So there's already we're talking about religion, but let's talk about the denominations even. You marry into a Catholic family, but maybe you're Pentecostal. My family is Pentecostal. My mom is Pentecostal. So we grew up Roman Catholic, but then turned Pentecostal. But I just regard myself as both because I was brought up, literally, especially school, with the Catholic tradition, Like I still sing the Catholic songs and whatever. So when it comes to those fundamentals even, there's a problem, right? Different denominations, there's a problem. Who are we going to?
You know what? Let me throw a spanner into these works, actually, right?
Yeah.
I agree that it's a very big deal. But at the same time, I think we make it a very big deal because we know how deeply rooted we can be in our religion and it's our way of life, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I would like to believe that there's always a way of finding a compromise or finding common ground, even when it comes to religion. But because religion yet, which is fine, which is perfectly fine.
Yes.
I'm saying, as in you're Catholic and you want to change, and that's what you want. So you want to look for, if she's not Catholic, she has to become Catholic. Catholics were very, very hard-headed when it comes to our religion. She's the one who's going to come to become Catholic. So it's always one of those where, because of that hard-headedness, we make it that difficult because that's a narrative that we've been told from since we're kids. Because when you're Catholic, when you get married, you have to remain Catholic, raise your kids in the Catholic way. So it becomes something that is so hard-headed in your head. But if you really look at it, this is what I'm saying, I'm putting a spanner into it. If you really look at it, it may not be completely difficult if you relax your mindset and actually find a compromise to your religion, what you as a family decide, because you're both praying to Jesus.
But sorry, Kudzi, can I?
Oh, it's not about Jesus at this point, religion.
No. It's an example. It's an example.
You're both worshipping the supreme being.
Yes.
Kudzi, if I can.
How about if you find yourself exactly what Kudzi was talking about, but she's an atheist? Anyway, yeah.
Look, yeah, fair enough. That's what I want to get into. That's what I want to get into, actually.
Yeah.
Because when you're with somebody and you want to marry somebody, and the biggest question is going to be, we're from different religions. What religion are we going to raise our kids in?
Yeah.
You have to find that common ground now. Roma, you were Pentecost, church. Sorry, that's denomination. In Roma, you were Islam.
Church.
That's going to be a very big issue.
It's going to be a big question. But here's a cool thing. Here's a cool thing about religion, Chris. Here's a cool thing about religion. You can raise your kids Islam. You can raise your kids Christian. You can raise your kids however way you want to raise them. But at the end of the day, they make their own decision.
I'm saying that's fine, but until they're 18 years old, Babaga, they are your responsibility.
I get that. So if you're 18 years, well, you have to agree.
So there's you and your wife here right now, sitting there saying, "Good, all right. Where are we? What are we gonna do?" That's where it becomes an issue, because you can't automatically just say when can't say automatically there has to be either a compromise or an understanding of saying, "Look, Twitter say, do
you think they can ever be
partially trained or I will kill you, but they don't even. I will kill you. I swear I will kill you."
Communication.
But
because
do you guys think that there's going to be a situation? Sorry to cut you, but
it's fine.
I want you to still carry on with your thoughts, though. But do you think it's going to be a situation whereby, in a family setup, the father is going to go Catholic and then the mother is go, Pentecostal, and then just a Sunday, just a great Sunday, like a great Sunday, you go and worship in different places. Do you think that's healthy? Do you think that can be sustainable?
But then what value?
I don't think it's healthy. I think it can be easily sustainable, but I don't think it's healthy. I think I've seen it in many places where and then amai wenda kwabo or baba wenda kwabo. It's not, or even cases where baba atombe ende ku church. Man doesn't go to church, wife goes to the kids. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It is workable, but it's. I think it only becomes an issue when let's say you are both very strong about what you want and what you believe, and none of you are willing to compromise. That's when it becomes an issue. I think there's always a room for somewhere where you can meet. It just depends if you're willing to. That's how I see it.
I completely disagree, boss, because for me at the end of the day, I will not talk about the atheists. I'll stick in the lane of people who actually go to church religiously, right? Because we're talking about religion. So when we talk about religion, we're talking about
someone who believes in something,
who actually believe in a higher power and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. If you don't, you don't. Fine, whatever. Yeah.
If you don't, it's cool, man. I think that's why we've been avoiding the topic of religion since we started, right?
Yeah, because this is true.
There are very opposing discussions that we can have about this. But then for me, at the end of the day, when you're talking about having a relationship with somebody, right, and having a life with that person, you can't discredit religion if both of you go to church. You have your religion. You cannot discredit that. That is going to be a very big compatibility factor. And not just on you, because this cannot be just put on the two of you, right? At the end of the day, yes, too. But don't forget the families. Is your family going to support your idea? And don't forget,
I agree with you on that. I perfect
Not
match.
do the same one.
What happened to stress?
Guys.
Varisa.
Everybody's in
Varisa.
Oh, wait, look, bottom line is religion compatibility is a big deal. I think you can't skate around it. It's a big deal. Solutions and everything. Amen or solution, and I don't know how because also each solution differs with each relationship, but I don't know how you're gonna do it, but it is a big deal.
Period.
In closing, let's do this. Let's do something different today. Maybe let's do Ngati says something that we can probably put as a measure for someone to look for in a relationship when it comes to chemistry and compatibility. So I'll start with chemistry. Chemistry, I'll put it to you, Chris, and compatibility to you, Batsy. Based on what we probably have talked about today, looking at all aspects from psychological, social, looking at the chemistry to also looking at how it has a time frame too. Let's take it away. Let's start from Chris and then Batsy.
Yes, I'm coming so.
Oh, okay. So, I believe when you're talking about chemistry, at the end of the day, I think it is very vital in any building of any relationship. And at the end of the day, the factors that I think you should consider when you talk about chemistry with your person really revolve around what I would say, what your heart feels. Again, this is it's unexplainable, really, what you feel for somebody. But I don't know if they must smell. I'm not a smell person because, hey, look, but he likes smells. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
There are different things that would attract you to your person. And but by the way, they are called pheromones. They're not smells.
Yeah, my pheromones.
My pheromones. So there are different factors that I would encourage people to look at when somebody would consider chemistry as part of what they want to look at in a relationship or what they are looking for in a partner. And I think primarily it's about what attracts you to a human being, what attracts you to the opposite sex or to your preferred sex, I would say. I don't know. But hey, look, to each his own. But definitely consider what makes you happy when it comes to chemistry. Don't force things. Don't look for things that are not there. Don't think with it because I will say yes and I don't want to cook my jokes. That's chemistry. That's not chemistry, right? Chemistry is different. Like you can feel it. Like the moment you see somebody, you're like,
You went to the end to give us this definition. Dumbass.
You know what I mean? But I'll give it to Mike.
You went to the end to give us the definition of chemistry.
Dutch, say no more. Say no more. That was the real definition of fucking chemistry.
That is the definition.
That's chemistry for you.
Okay, Batsy, compatibility.
I'm going to start with a bombshell. If you're looking for 100% compatibility, stop. It doesn't exist. Stop it. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. So, first things first, I think with compatibility is lower expectations. It's not 100% compatibility, right? And second thing is, I think first thing you need to do for you to find someone you're compatible with is know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you're not going to know what you want, how you want it, and when you want it, and you won't be able to you won't be able to find the person you can be compatible with if you don't know what is important to you, So like we're talking about religion, we're talking about this. Is religion actually, you're Catholic, you go to church every Sunday, but is it actually important to you? So know what you value so that you can find what you're compatible with, So I think those two things, know yourself and lower your expectations, because there's no such thing as 100% compatibility. And the compatibility, I think the last thing I'll say is the long game. This is the long game. I think chemistry, like what Chris said, is, compatibility is when that is not as strong as you feel it, but you have something to hold on to. I think it's the long game. So those are the three things I'll say about compatibility. Long game. game. This is the long game.
Get away.
I actually thought, Chris, I actually thought you were going to get into polyamory as well today, because I thought it's something that comes, because chemistry could be something that's linked to just short time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll leave it.
Polyamory is a. We need to do the second topic of monogamy, but then we need to do monogamy versus
polyamory.
No, we need to do polygamy versus polyamory, because I want to know, people's thoughts there. But that's a deep one. Like, you need to stay.
It's a story for another day.
But can we please have a guest on that one? Because I would actually love a woman's perspective when we're discussing.
I really would. I
wouldn't want it to just be the boys. I would love a woman to be there.
True.
So a woman with very strong female views, actually. Not just any random, inky pinky ponky, but strong views.
We'll take that under advisement.
Okay, cool. Let's get onto social media. I think you like all you guys can see the bar here. That we've got our social media platforms, but let's just give the gentleman the platform to do that, shall we? Let's start with Batsi, and then we can end with Chris this time around. Otherwise, I'll get in trouble.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please on YouTube, subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you get notifications when we're live. And same thing with Facebook. Just do the things, follow us, and share with all your friends so that we can get these conversations going everywhere. Chris?
I do not understand how we see like 1,000, 1,500, 3,000 views every day on Facebook, but I do not see none of you on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, I would kindly ask you and advise you and encourage you to join us on Instagram. There is a lot happening on Instagram that you're actually not getting off the Facebook platform. Try and get in on that. Make sure you get all those notifications as soon as they come. There are more hot topics that we actually do discuss on Instagram. Get in on that as well. Remember to find us on Spotify as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to DM us at any of these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We will be able to respond to you, and then we can take it from there, ladies and gentlemen.
There's voices everywhere. Mm-hmm.
And we are out, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave a comment, tag your friends, and tell them that we are fantastic.
And side in green is my thought.
Yeah, I know those. Yeah.
Side G.
In my side chicks.